Welcome to this ICF Slalom podcast episode, part of the series running until the Los Angeles 2028 Olympic Games. We bring you the inside stories from around the globe from the people who make canoe slalom so special. Here's your host, John Gregory.
A warm welcome to our fifth episode of this special daily series. Thanks for joining me. We bring you a short daily episode as we guide you on what to expect the next day at the ICF 2026 Canoe Slalom and Kayak Cross World Championships and a recap on the last day's racing in Oklahoma City, USA. I'm joined again by my co-host American K1 Women World Champion Rebecca Giddens. We recap the canoe qualification heats, canoe teams and preview the kayak semifinals. For the canoe qualification heats on Wednesday, we saw 70 men and 55 women competing to make the top 30 cut to the semifinals on Friday. Fastest runs were set by world and Olympic champion Nico Guestin from France with a clean run in 84.01 seconds in C1 men, and by Marjorie Delassus from France with a clean run in 93.19 seconds. Agony for Ziegelin Hosovar from Slovenia and Martina Satkova from Czechia, who were both leading the 2026 World Cup Series in C1, who missed the qualification to the semi-final. Also unexpectedly going out was Noemi Fox from Australia. Here is Rebecca's take on what we watched unfold in the canoe heats and then the team races.
C1's top 30 get to go through. After that, it's the top 12. We get to watch the top 30 coming up next. 19 federations made it into the next round. So a lot of countries being represented. No surprise, once again, Great Britain got all three boats in. Very impressive. I just feel like every race that I've seen so far, it seems like everyone from Great Britain goes through in each discipline or almost every discipline. So very, very strong field. And then Casey Eichfeld of the United States, congratulations. You made it through. Can't wait to watch you. And I'm especially excited to watch Bug Locken. I love the Locken family. I've spent a lot of time in Durango, Colorado. Them as a host family to me, putting me up during races and training camps. And as payment back, often I got to babysit Bug. Sometimes their parents would leave town and put us in charge. I'm not sure that was the best idea, Locken family. No, it was good. I was a great babysitter. Yeah, what a great guy. I cannot wait to see him out there on the course. I paddled too early. I really wish I could have paddled C1. That was a sport that I loved doing growing up. My coach was a big advocate of being able to do all disciplines of slalom. And so I would race C1 a lot at all local events and national events if possible. We'd often paddle C2 and C2 mix at different races. One of my best partners was my girlfriend, Sarah Leith, who was also at the same time competing on the U.S. national team. We'd love to go out there against the guys and see if they could take us on. And then I often raced with my husband, Eric Giddens, as well. And I got to go in the back because I was better. He's not here to argue with me, so we'll just leave it at that. But I'm so excited that women get to participate now in C1, and it's so cool to see what everyone's doing in C1 now. And I think it really has to do with the women coming in and switching sides, paddling on both sides. And for a while that was just shame. Oh my gosh, you can't switch sides. You're not good enough if you're going back and forth. And I mean, come on guys, it saves energy and it keeps you even on both sides. Before it looked like some sort of 8-person walking around the C1 guys, dominating on one side. So I've really been enjoying the women out there. Their influence on the sport, I believe, of paddling on both sides is pretty awesome to see. And I can't wait to see these events. Another exciting race by the C1 women. It looks like 17 nations made it through. Once again, Great Britain's in there, France, Slovakia, we've got Spain and Germany, all qualifying 3 boats again. So awesome depth in their fields. As we all know, hard to be an athlete in those countries because you got a lot of competition. Got to work super, super hard to make it up in those ranks. And then watching Evie out there, she did what she needed to do. She's qualified a spot. She's in the top 20, so solid place to be in. And hopefully she just turns that on for race day and gives it all she's got and is able to keep it in control. Great Britain finally did it. Men's C1 team runs. It sounds like they have been hoping for this gold for a while, like the past 2 world championships. They've had second places, and so they were really gunning for it and wanting that gold, and they got it. Congratulations, Great Britain. Loved getting to see the debut of the Slovakian C1 women. This was their first gold medal run at a world championship, so congratulations to you ladies from Slovakia.
That was Rebecca Giddens, world champion in K1 women from 2002 Worlds in Bourg Saint-Maurice, bronze medalist from Augsburg 2003, and Olympic silver medalist from the Athens Olympics. She represented the USA at the Olympics in Sydney and Athens. She spoke to us from Kernville, California, USA. So on to story time again. Back in May, I was fortunate to be part of the World River Centre team and partners who hosted the International Whitewater Hall of Fame induction at the stunning Canadian Canoe Museum. 2 slalom paddlers were inducted, Dana Kladek from USA and Danielle Woodward from Australia. Here are Rebecca's perceptions on their impact on her and the international community.
I've always admired Dana Kladek. What an incredible athlete. She was our most decorated athlete in the U.S. for Olympic medals and world championship medals. I always wanted to grow up and be like her. I got a little bit of opportunities at the end to cross over with her as she was finishing up her career, and I was basically starting my career. I actually got to go compete at a lot of the World Cups in '96 because she stayed back to train for the Olympics. The 1996 Olympics, that was such a cool event to be at in the U.S. And I got to watch my husband, Eric Giddens, race at that race. But something about her run that really stood out as she got the silver medal. She got the silver medal behind Stepanka Hilgertova. And they actually tied for the gold medal. They had the exact same time. That is so unusual in our sport to go down to the 100th of a second. And they did. They tied. They should have both been awarded a gold, but it went down to their first runs or whatever one was the fastest. And in Donna's first run, she flipped and she swam. And I just remember it was so heartbreaking to watch and just like, oh my gosh, that was her Olympics. And it was at the top of the course. And I don't know what happened, but she was swimming. And to come back from that and basically, have the best time in the world, and then to be in second place. I really admired how she handled it. She was so happy. It was just such delight in her excitement and watching her up in the medal stand and receiving that award. I think some people could have been upset because they felt that was a gold medal run and a tie. But I just loved how she just accepted her silver with such grace. And it was just incredible to be second in the world at the Olympics. Good for her. It was really fun to be in those stands and very inspiring to me as an athlete.
If you missed those podcast episodes, I encourage you to find them. And here is a clip of my interview afterwards at the Canadian Canoe Museum with the delightful Dana Kladek. Her Atlanta Olympic kayak has been hanging at the Madawaska Canoe Center, where she had trained and worked.
I'm really honored as competitor in canoe slalom. I was inducted today, along with 4 other very meritorious inductees. I was on the U.S. canoe and kayak team from 1982 until 1996. I won 2 medals in the World Championships, 2 silver medals in 89 and 91. I won the World Cup in 1998. And I won 2 medals in the Olympics, bronze in 92 and silver in 96. This is so long ago now, it feels like a different lifetime. And since then, I've raised 2 girls and I've coached kayaking, given back to the sport. And I think, how many people helped make this possible, like the connections that we made. We were doing it to paddle, but the paddling gave us the human connection because we were doing a shared activity that we loved. And also how many people helped make this possible for me. Primarily my parents, who introduced me to outdoor sports and canoeing and kayaking in particular, but also so many of the coaches and from many different countries and so many athletes that took me under their wing, and it's really a collaborative effort that made me fortunate enough to be able to do well in my sport and pursue my dream.
So you were reunited with your boat from '96?
I was united with my boat from '96. That was kind of cool. Yeah, it was a nice piece of memory. Yeah.
That was Dana Kladek. She represented USA at the Olympics in Barcelona and Atlanta. We chatted together at the Canadian Canoe Museum in Ontario, Canada. Back to Rebecca describing Danielle, who is part of the jury of the Oklahoma City Worlds.
We had a Whitewater series in the U.S. that offered money as prizes. So the U.S. would lure some international racers, and it was super awesome at the beginning of my career. And one of the things that really made me want to be a part of the sport was I got exposure to international athletes and racing against them. And one of them was Danielle Woodward. And I remember her specifically just how kind she was. I was a little kid, however many years younger, maybe 15 years younger than she was at these races, and kind of following her around like she was a superstar, and just so inspired that I was able to race against these world-class athletes and see where I landed, and it was really far behind them. But yeah, that was my first exposure to Danielle Woodward, and immediately just a really awesome human being and inspirational to all young paddlers around her. So it doesn't surprise me that she has stuck with the sport with additional help and volunteering and starting up programs, and her involvement to see the sport thrive is no surprise.
I have just finished reading Sue Taft's fascinating book, The River Chasers, which plots the history of whitewater paddling in the US. Okay, so while we are talking about US medalists, who are they? In women's kayak, Linda Harrison, Kathy Hearn, Dana Kladek and Rebecca Giddens. And in men's kayak, Richard Weiss, Scott Shipley and Mikhail Smolin. Who will be next? Thursday's competition on the river sport course for this fourth day of competition at these Oklahoma City Worlds is the kayak semi-finals and finals. Athletes race on a new course of gates. First, paddlers are fighting to make the cut of 12 boats to the final. To help refresh your memory from the kayak heats, in K1 women, fastest was world number 1 Kader Funk from Germany. 18 national federations made it through to the semi-final of 30 boats, which includes 3 world champions, Ricky Claudia Zwalinska from Poland and Jess Fox from Australia, and 3 Olympic champions, Ricky, Jess and Marlene Charroux from Spain. In K1 men, fastest was Jakub Krejci from Czechia. 18 national federations made it through to the semi-final of 30 boats, which includes 5 world champions, Vip Prindis from Czechia, Yuri Priskovic from Czechia, Peter Kauser from Slovenia, Titouan Kastrik from France, and Joe Clark from Great Britain, and 3 Olympic champions, Giovanni Giordano from Italy, Yuri and Joe. Thanks to my co-host today, Rebecca Giddens. The next episode at 6 a.m. Central Daylight Time tomorrow will recap the women's and men's kayak finals and preview the canoe semi-finals. Throughout Worlds, I will be updating the Canoe Slalom Analytics Google Sheet. There is a link in the show notes. There are multiple tabs covering Worlds, Olympics, World Cups, and more historical results. If you haven't visited the Canadian Canoe Museum, you should add it to your bucket list. There is Claudia Verkhoff van Vik's slalom boat from the 81 Worlds in Bala, and David Ford's Gala Sport boat from the Beijing Olympics. I'm John Gregory, thanks for listening. If you enjoy the podcast, tell other people, send them a link, like, follow or write a review. And if you need more, keep reading Ettore Evaldi's brilliantly insightful and eloquent blog, now celebrating its 20th anniversary. Stay safe.
That's it for now, but please subscribe to the podcasts on Apple Podcasts, Spotify or YouTube, and leave a review too. Until the next episode, keep it fast and clean.